In this learning video, we're going to look at creating these two charts, which is really based on geography for the average of employee identity. We can make it a little wider actually. And also for engagement. Now to do this, we use the HR data set, which was on Kaggle. And what we're doing is we went back to the HR data set on Kaggle. And you can see here on the HR data set, we inserted a field on the HR data set, which was engagement, which really averaged engagement 1 through 5. And this came from those questionnaires that were sent to employees, like how do you feel your level of engagement? And then lastly, there's a field in here called employee identity. So there's two fields. You want to make sure you highlight the range for what you need to make this. You can highlight the whole table. In this case, I just wanted GEO, maybe role, but the GEO is the most important field. So then what I did was I went in and I created insert pivot table. Existing worksheet, I suppose, would be okay. And we can go over here and put it down here in the bottom. You say okay, and then you have to go in, and what we need to do is grab employee identity, not sum it but average it. Then what we need to do is grab the engagement. And remember, I already created an engagement member that read all 5 of these. You also need to average it, because you're basically averaging the responses from a survey, which we're working on a 5-point Likert scale. And you're doing that analysis. And then lastly, what we need for these charts is a geography role. Now, we're not focused on making, in this exercise, we're not focused on making pivot charts, but we are focused on making a regular chart, because there may be some reasons you don't want to use pivot charts. So in this particular case, we're not using pivot charts, we're just using ordinary charts. So then what we simply do is we take this data, which is the employee identity data, go down, employee identity, which is 39, was it B39? Employee identity, a little late, so I'll make sure I did it right. Equals B39. I want to get rid. I don't want any real big heavy structure references or pivot table references. And the second one, this one's probably C39. So we'll check both of those. Yeah, C39, and we'll go in, and it's C39. Then all we simply do is copy the value down. We copy the value down. The key thing was use averages. You could have run a pivot table calculation and do it as well. This way, when you get updated surveys, you can just do it. So the numbers are here. But then we really got to do a color coding. You go to conditional formatting. You can pick a different gradient scale for these things. We don't really know what's good or bad. Yeah, the color red scale would be good. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, so basically low identification with the organization. Oof, that looks probably about right. And then here, scales, same thing. And we have the scales done. So then we have it. So now all we have to do is create the charts. And to create the charts, we highlight the range and insert, and we go to maps. We click on maps and we pick which one we want. So the first one can be the chart here. And then really it's a matter of, do we want black or do we want it kind of light? Like that, I think is pretty good. And then we do the same thing here. We highlight it over here. We insert. We go back to charts. You choose map. And we pick maybe this one. It's kind of nice. And then all you have to do is create your titles. This one is engagement level. See how engaged employees are, right? Okay, and this one here was identity. We could even have a more meaningful title than the first time I did. Identity level. And there you have it. This is one of the exercises we do with building pivot tables. So in this exercise, you saw how to build a pivot table to get the value of two fields, how to make it picture perfect, because a lot of times these pivot tables, they're just not that pretty. You have to spend a lot of time formatting them and those kind of things. These are absolutely stunning. So you want to actually get this data here and then really highlight it in a report that makes sense. So a lot of times to do this, we don't always use the pivot charts or pivot tables, but we do like to make stunning graphics and those kind of things. So it just depends, and you can use all the charting commands you have, move the charts around, move the legends around, write the notes, and any of those things that you might want. So it's very powerful things that you can do. I hope that this learning video was powerful and that you'll find it useful.